Morning, everyone. Today we are continuing Chapter 11. I know we've had a little bit of a break between lessons with the MCA test, but today we're going to jump back in with Pythagorean Theorem. I know we've talked about this a little bit when we were reviewing for the MCA. The Pythagorean Theorem says if a triangle is a right triangle, then the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs equal the square of the length of the hypotenuse. Now, the hypotenuse is always going to be the longest one, and we usually call that C. Now, the legs are usually A and B. The sum of A and B are going to equal C when you square them. So what that looks like is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So what we need to do is find the unknown length. So here we have A and B. So what we have is 8 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared. We don't know what C is. That's what we're trying to find. 8 squared is 64. 12 squared is 144. And we have C squared. So now we add up 64 and 144. And what we're going to get is 208. Now this is where we are probably going to need our calculators, because now to find C we need to do the opposite of a square, which is the square root. So we find the square root of 208. When we put that into our calculators, we get 14.42. And that's where I'm going to round it off. So 14.42 is our C. Next one we know B and C. So what we don't know is A squared. So we do know B is 5 squared, and we know that 10 squared. So we have A squared plus 25 equals 100. Now we're trying to get A by itself, so I'm going to subtract 25. So we get A squared equals 75. Now the last step, we just need to find the square root of both of the sides. So we get A equals the square root of 75, which gives me 8.66. Alright, next two I want you guys to try on your own. We're going to get onto this right triangle part. It says, do these side lengths make a right triangle? It says, if a triangle has side lengths A, B, and C such that A squared plus B squared equals C squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. So we need to determine if we add these up when they are squared, are they going to equal C? Are A and B going to equal C? So what we're going to have then is 12 squared plus 71 squared equals 72 squared. So we're going to do that then. 12 squared is 144. 71 squared, I'm going to put that in my calculator, gives me 5,041. And then 72 squared, so 72 times 72, gives me 5,184. Now if I add up 144 and 5,041, I get 5,185. 5,184. Those two are very, very close, but they do not equal each other, so this is not a right triangle. Next one, we got 15 squared plus 60 squared equals 61 squared. 15 squared, that's 225. 60 squared, 3,600. And 61 squared, 3,721. If I add these two together, I get 3,825. That does not equal 3,721, so this is also not a right triangle. Last one here, we have to try 4.5 squared plus 6 squared plus 7.5 squared equals 7.5 squared. .5 times 4.5 gives me 20.25. 6 squared is 36, and 7.5 squared is 56.25. So if I add up 36 and 20.25, I get 56.25. That equals 56.25. These equal the same thing. This is a right triangle. Alright, so now we got a word problem. It says a ladder that is 25 feet long is placed against a house. Okay, so I'm going to draw this out. There's my house. My ladder is placed against it, and I know that's 25 feet long. The bottom of the ladder is 10 feet from the base of the house. Okay, so I know that the bottom of the ladder is 10 feet away. How far up on the house does the ladder reach? Okay, so, well, what we don't know is one of our legs. So we're trying to find that. What we do know is the hypotenuse and the other leg. So I'm going to have 10 squared plus, we'll say x squared because we don't know what that is, equals 25 squared. 10 squared is 100 plus x squared equals 25 times 25. Gives me 625. I'm going to subtract 100 so I can get x by itself, which gives me 525. Last thing I need to do, square root of both of them. If I find the square root of 525, I get x equals 22.91. So it's about 22.91 feet on the side of the house. Alright, next one says find x. Well, it looks like to me we have two right triangles here. On the big triangle, what I notice is we only know one of the sides. We only know that that's 14. But if I look at this bottom triangle, I see that it shares a side with the big triangle, and we know two of those sides. So what I know that I can do is use the Pythagorean theorem to find my other side for the little triangle, which is going to be the same as the big one. So then I would have two sides on the big one. So we'll start there. So a squared plus 6 squared equals 12 squared. I'm trying to find my a here. So we get 36 equals 144. I'm going to subtract 36. So 144 minus 36 is going to give me 108. Now I just need to find the square root of both of the sides, and we get a equals square root of 108, which is 10.39. Now that I know what A is, now I can use that 10.39 to find the side of the other triangle. So we'll have x squared plus 10.39 squared equals 14 squared. So x squared plus now 10.39 gives me 107.95 equals 14 squared, which is 196. We have to subtract 107.95. So we get x squared equals 196 minus 107.95 gives me 88.05. Finally find the square root, and x equals 9.38.